Hello everyone, Tawana Michelle here, recovery coach and mental health therapist. I am back with another video today. Let me say, this is actually a requested video. I got a question from a viewer asking about co-parenting with a narcissist. So I think that's a really important topic. I get questions about that a lot. And I responded to this particular viewer that I would make a video about it. So I am here today making this video for you and for anyone else who is interested in learning about how to co-parent with a narcissist. That can be a very difficult thing to do. You know, I always talk about, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know, I am always talking about go no contact. But the reality is there are also situations in which you don't have the luxury of doing that. You have to go minimal contact, which I've spoken about, and I'll also speak about a little bit in this video. But when you're in a situation with a narcissist where you have to deal with them because you have a kid with them, I am going to be addressing this question, this topic, as if you are no longer with a narcissist. Perhaps you are separated from them, you are divorced from them. If you are interested in how to co-parent with a narcissist and you are still in a relationship with them, a lot of these things, some of these things might apply, but many of them won't. So if you are still in a relationship with a narcissist, I think that's something you probably need to really examine and get some help and figure out the best path for you. So I'm going to be giving you 10 tips on how to co-parent with a narcissist. The first tip that I'm going to give you is probably the most important. You have to be able to maintain control of your emotions. We all know the narcissist is going to try and bait you. That's what they do. They're going to try to get an emotional reaction from you in whatever way they can. They're going to try to piss you off. They're going to try any attempts at hoovering. They might even try to come at you in a more positive way to try and get sympathy or empathy from you. But regardless of their approach or their strategy, you have to remember that these people are trying to get an emotional reaction from you. You don't want to give it to them. So, but it gets under your skin, you get upset, right? If you are still at a point where the narcissist can trigger you emotionally, one, it means you have more work to do on yourself in terms of recovering from your narcissistic abuse. And secondly, you don't want to vent or give the response to the narcissist. So maintain control of your emotions, do what works for you to keep you grounded, to keep you balanced, keep working on yourself, keep doing your healing work, y'all. If you are working on recovery from this abusive person, healing from this relationship, dealing with your grief, dealing with your trauma, then you are not as easily baited by the narcissist. So when you are co-parenting with them and they do something purposely to piss you off or to get you to communicate with them, you're going to have, if you're not in control of your emotions, you're going to have perhaps an outburst toward them that your children may witness. So you don't want to do that. You want to maintain control over your emotions so that you are in control of the situation, because you have to be in control. Remember, the narcissist wants power in every situation. Maintain control over your emotions and you can have control over the situation when it comes to co-parenting with the narcissist. And that actually brings me to my second point. You know, I mentioned that you don't want to be having any outbursts because you don't want your kids seeing all this, okay? Going through a separation or a divorce with a narcissist is tough on you and tough on your children. The fact that your children have a narcissist for a parent is going to be tough on them because narcissistic parents use their children as pawns. They use their children to triangulate you and other situations in terms of manipulation. So there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of dysfunction that the kids are already having to deal with their narcissistic parent. The second tip that I'm going to give you is really important. I can't really prioritize them. They're all super important. But listen, you have to be the stable parent, okay? They already have one parent who's unstable, who's unbalanced. They have to have the stability from somewhere. They have to feel secure in themselves, in their environment. They don't feel that with a narcissistic parent. They likely feel that they're in a situation that is unpredictable, where perhaps love and affection and attention has to be earned, and perhaps they are punished when they don't do what the narcissist wants them to do in terms of meeting the narcissist's needs and feeding the narcissist ego, because the narcissist sees the children as an extension of themselves. And so if they do something that the narcissist does not approve of, the narcissist can become enraged and take that out on the children. So they have, especially if you're in a joint custody situation, which, if you're co-parenting, you likely are, they're going back and forth, right? So they're going, to a environment that's not as healthy, is not as stable, and then back to another environment that should balance that out. That's hard enough already for your kids. They shouldn't have to deal with that. But there are certain things that are going to be out of our control when it comes to co-parenting with a narcissist. So you be that sounding board, you be that balanced person, you provide that emotional support, you provide that security for your children, because they need that, and only you can give them that. The narcissistic parent cannot. The third tip that I'm going to give you about co-parenting with a narcissist, also important: do not bad mouth the narcissist parent in front of the children. They will feel bad about that. And if you're doing that, now you are providing an unhealthy environment. They are getting a lot of negative energy when they are with the narcissistic parent. They don't need to get that from you. And when you're bad mouthing the narcissist, you may think that you're telling your kids things they need to know about their father or their mother, so that they can deal with it better. And there are ways to do that. But if you are bad mouthing the narcissistic parents, putting them down, saying cruel things to them, that is hurtful to your children. It hurts them emotionally. I will never forget. This stood out to me. I've been a therapist for 20 plus years, and I will never forget when I used to work with children, adolescents, a long time ago. Now I mostly only work with adults. But I remember a child telling me, crying and saying, my mom and dad are always fighting, and my mom says bad things about my dad. And when my mom says bad things about my dad, it makes me feel bad about myself, because my dad is a part of me. Very insightful, because this was probably a prepubescent child, maybe 9 or 10. And he said, when she talks about my dad, I feel like she's talking about me, because the child was right. The father was a part of the child, and the child is a part of the father. So children don't know how to make that separation. Another thing, I didn't add this, but this will go, I guess, with this particular tip. Children love their parents unconditionally. You have to remember that. So you no longer love that narcissistic parent, or even if you do, you have anger, resentment, whatever feelings you have that are unresolved and need to be resolved. But they love these people, these parents. And think about how you feel when someone is saying bad, negative, cruel things about someone you love to you, regardless of if it's deserved, warranted, or not. You don't like that. That feels uncomfortable. And especially if it's a parent. Y'all know, talk about somebody's mama and see how they act, regardless of what their mama was like to them growing up, regardless of what their relationship is like with their mamas now. You don't talk about nobody's mama. So you got to remember that when you're talking about the other parent to these children, that's their mama, that's their daddy. That's a part of them. It's an extension of them. So, you have to be careful. Now, if your children see certain behaviors that they don't understand and they have questions about, answer the questions as honestly and as appropriately according to their age as you can. you can even say, sometimes dad acts, that way because he's sick. That is not a lie. Um, a narcissist who has full-blown narcissistic personality disorder has a disorder, okay? They don't function normally, right? What is normal? It's normal is relative, but someone who has a disorder has certain pathologies that cause problems in their lives and in their relationships. So telling a child that can help them understand that, okay, this isn't about me, this is about mom being sick, or this is about dad being sick. And as they get older and they want to know, or even when they're young, they might want to know, well, how are they sick? And then you can just tell them, it's something psychological, and we'll talk about it as you get older, because kids internalize things and they make it about them. But you don't want to do it in an inappropriate, cruel way. And you want to make sure that the kid is age appropriate to even have that discussion. The fourth tip that I'm going to give you about co-parenting with a narcissist is to have a parenting plan. If you have gone through a divorce with a narcissist, you probably already have this. And if you are not married to them, or you did go through a divorce and you don't have a parenting plan, then you want to seek legal counsel to help you with that, because this is a legal document that the judge will sign off on, and it talks about everything in regards to parenting, their schedules, when are they going to be with each parent, the time and place of pickup, who's going to handle medical stuff, when and how you're going to do all of your communicating about the children. So you want to have a legal document in place so that it's very structured. Your communication, all of your interactions with the narcissist is going to be very structured. So make sure you have that. You don't want to be doing things all willy-nilly and just let the narcissist do as they please, come and go as they please, get the kids as they please, pick them up from school when they're not supposed to, come get them, any time of the day, any time of the night. You don't want that. Remember, which I'm going to get to the boundaries thing, but you have to have a lot of structure and boundaries with these people, and they need to know in advance, and it needs to be legal so that, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then you have some leverage and some, authority that you can go to assist them with complying with the plan. And the fifth tip that I'm going to give you about co-parenting with a narcissist is kind of related to the fourth, in regards to the parenting plan and the legal stipulations. This is about you making sure you follow that plan, because you don't want to give the narcissist anything to use against you. Anything, even outside of the plan. If the narcissist has anything that they could potentially use as a weapon against you and take you to court and try and get custody of the kids, try and make you seem like a bad parent, they will do it. So you want to make sure you are following the stipulations of that plan. You are sticking by it firmly. You're not giving the narcissist anything that they could use to harm you or to harm those children. You are living your life in a way that shows that you are definitely a suitable fit parent, which goes back to the first two things that I talked about. Maintain control of your emotion, being that stable figure in those kids' life. Because trust me, the narcissist is looking for anything you do wrong, anything they consider as a slip up that they could use against you, because they don't care about hurting the kids. I mean, I hate to say it, but they don't. The narcissist only cares about themselves. The narcissist only cares about winning. The narcissist only cares about power. So whereas you may think, well, I wouldn't want to do something extreme, like try and get full custody of the kids, and they wouldn't have their dad in their lives at all, and that would be harmful to them also. So I have to consider that. He ain't thinking, or she ain't thinking like that. They're thinking about themselves, they're thinking about winning, and they're thinking about hurting you. So don't give them anything they can use against you. And the sixth tip that I'm going to give you about co-parenting with a narcissist is to set firm boundaries. Okay? You cannot give an inch. Set boundaries with the plan, with the parenting plan. Make sure they stick to that parenting plan. Set boundaries with communication. We don't have anything to talk about if it's not about the children. If the narcissist is contacting you and he wants to talk about your personal life, their personal life, there's nothing to talk about. Cut the conversation off and only communicate with them about the children, and only when it is absolutely necessary. Don't give the narcissist anything emotionally, which goes back to the first thing that I mentioned about controlling your own emotions. You have to set boundaries there too, because even when they come and pick up the kids, especially if you still have some unresolved feelings, you might still love the narcissist. You might still be in love with them. You see them, they want to come and give you a hug. No physical contact, no emotional response, no communication if it's not about the kids. Sticking with the plan. The boundaries are set. They are firm. They are non-negotiable. That's it. And the seventh tip that I'm going to give you about co-parenting with a narcissist is to document everything and keep all records. Keep voicemails, emails, text messages, any form of communication that you have from the narcissist that you can capture. Make sure you do that and document anything the narcissist does that makes you feel uncomfortable, makes the kids feel uncomfortable, that is pushing the boundaries, not sticking with the parenting plan, putting the kids in situations where they're emotionally harmed in some way. Because, physical abuse is easy to detect. Most of the time, there are going to be some signs that someone's being physically abused. Emotional abuse, not so much. So if the kids are coming home crying and they're saying, "Oh, mommy or daddy was mean to me and yelling at me the whole time and made me stay in my room, the whole night, didn't give me dinner," document all of those things, because you may find yourself in a situation where you have to use some of that if you have to take this back to the legal system. And the ninth tip that I'm going to give you is to avoid being triangulated when you are co-parenting with a narcissist. Sometimes the narcissist will even use the kids to try to get them on their side and turn them against you. If you are co-parenting with a narcissist, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They are going to flip the script. They're going to change the narrative. They are going to make the children think you are the bad guy, they are the good guy, which is why those first two tips that I gave you are very important. Maintaining your emotions, being that stable parent, because the narcissist is going to try and make it look quite the opposite. They're going to try and get the kids on their side and turn them against you. They're going to try and get the court system, the legal system on their side and turn them against you. They're going to use their flying monkeys, right? People who sympathize with them and believe they're these great people, and get them on their side and have them contacting you. You might get angry calls from your in-laws or your ex-in-laws if you're divorced, from their friends, from the narcissist family members, from maybe from the narcissist attorney. So they are going to try and get people on their side, turn them against you, and you don't want to participate in that, because that creates the triangulation. And when you participate in that, then you're kind of going back and forth and you're communicating, with these flying monkeys that they're trying to get to turn against you. And now, you got this whole little triangle formed with this third party. And you got to remember, the third party in the triangulation with the narcissist is always going to be on their side, because the narcissist by nature is going to be a much better, more skilled manipulator than you are. So They're going to win. That's why the boundaries are important, y'all. Not only do you not want to have any contact with the narcissist, outside of contact communication about the kids, you don't want to have any contact or communication with anybody related to the narcissist. Now, if you have children with the narcissist, obviously they're going to be grandparents, paternal or maternal, depending on whoever is the narcissist in this situation. But they're going to be grandparents, they're going to be extended family members who are going to want to be in these kids' lives. Same rules apply to them as with the narcissist. Same rules apply. Because most likely these people believe that you're the bad guy. And so you want to follow these same tips in dealing with them. And the 9th tip that I'm going to give you, the previous tip was tip number 8. I'm getting my numbers all confused here. That was tip number 8. This is tip number 9. So the 9th tip that I'm going to give you is to always, 100% of the time, report any signs of abuse or neglect to authorities right away. When you are co-parenting with a narcissist, you have to remember this. Your main job is to protect your children. Your children are at risk of potential harm when they are dealing with their narcissistic parent. And like I said, physical harm is more easily observed, more easily identified. Emotional abuse, not so much. But if you are aware that there is emotional abuse, you want to report that too. Laws relating to abuse typically involve physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, and medical neglect. So you don't have to worry about what the laws are. If you have any signs that these children are being abused, then you want to report to the authorities right away. Do not let your children be harmed by these people. It is not fair to the children. And guess what? At the end of the day, they're going to blame you for not protecting them. So not only would they have one parent who's actually abusing them, they have a second parent who did not protect them from the abuse. You have to do that. That's your job. And the last tip that I'm going to give you on co-parenting with a narcissist is that you want to utilize your support system, guys. Don't try and do this alone. Okay? Reach out to family members, friends, therapists, life coaches, support groups, whoever you have in your circle that you consider a source of support for you, so that you can talk to when you need to, you can vent, when you need to, you can get assistance when you need to, you can get help when you need to. It's hard trying to deal with a narcissist in general, especially if you're co-parenting with a narcissist. There are so many other factors that you have to take into consideration, mainly the children, my own emotions, how my children are dealing with this, protecting my children from them, having to ward off all of these hoovering attempts from the narcissist, having to avoid all of his flying or her flying monkeys. So many things going on. It becomes mentally, physically exhausting. Get some help, reach out to your support system, and going back to number 1, always keep working on yourself, doing your healing work, managing your own emotions, staying grounded and healthy for those babies. Because you are the only stable parent that they've got. And if you're not, you want to work on becoming that, because they need it, they deserve it. So if you guys have any other tips that you want to add here about how to co-parent with a narcissist, leave that down in the comment section below. And if you have any questions, leave that down in the comment section below. If you guys have any video topic ideas that you would like to see me cover, leave that down below and I will create a video on that. Guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share this video out with people that you think may benefit from it. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting on? We would love to have you become a part of this community. And as always, guys, Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support so much. Until next time, take care. Bye.